Football Queensland's coverage of the 2019 NPL, NPLW and FQPL season is brought to you by IFCA, Australia's only national football-specific coaching conference, 25th and 26th of May on the Gold Coast. Get your delegate pass today at ifcca.com.au. Play football. Join the team today. Visit playfootball.com.au to find your nearest club. Football Foundation, making football more accessible for every income, every gender, every ability, every background, every Indigenous Queenslander. Donate today.
Well, welcome to the National Premier League's Women's Queensland clash between Lions and Capalaba. I'm Simon Smale and I'll be your commentator this evening on what has been a pretty cold and damp evening in the southeast corner of Queensland. Fortunately, that weather has moved off and we should have perfect conditions for football. The pitch is looking absolutely immaculate, as you'd expect here at Lions in Richlands. There's plenty of exciting prospects to get our teeth into today, because Lions and Capalaba are second and third on the ladder in the National Premier League's women's competition. You have to say they've been playing some exceptional football as well. Lions are unbeaten so far, one of two teams in the Football Queensland competitions that haven't suffered defeat in the league yet this season. The other, of course, being the National Premier League's men's leaders, Peninsula Power. Rob Askew, for his troubles, has been awarded the National Premier League's Women's Queensland competition Manager of the Month as a result. So congratulations to him. He's well worthy of that award as well. The former Gap coach has made a tremendous difference here at Richlands as Lions look to secure an elusive National Premier League's Women's Championship. Capalaba, on the other hand, well, they've been roaring along as well. Suffered two recent defeats, though, after the bye. So 2 of their 3 clashes since that bye round has not resulted in a victory, which is disappointing for them, and perhaps the bye just upsetting the apple cart a little bit for Daniel Baker's side. Having said that, they're still going along quite nicely in third spot. They've had 7 wins from their 10 matches. Managed to be scoring plenty of goals as well. Scored 35 goals a game, 35 goals in matches before the bye. That's an average of 5 per game. It's only the 5 goals since, averaging 1.67 goals per game. So there has been that drop off in output. A lot of that as well comes from the fact that Vicky Lyons has failed to score in her last 3 matches since the break. And even worse news for Capalaba and Capalaba fans is that Vicky Lyons will be playing her final game in the yellow of Capalaba today. She is heading back to the UK for personal reasons. And that's really the big news in the National Premier League's Women's Queensland this week, because Vicky's been such a fantastic player for Capalaba over the last couple of years. She's had spells at UQ and Peninsula Power as well. But a former Arsenal Ladies Academy player just had to head back to the UK, and she said in a post on Facebook that she described the club as a family and that she was desperately sad to be leaving. But she also paid credit to the club as a whole, and that is for putting the women's programme at the club on an equal tee with the men's. And that's certainly what we've witnessed whenever I've been down to John Frederick Park over the last couple of weeks. In fact, I was back there last weekend for the Football Queensland Premier League clash and managed to catch a glimpse of the women's game beforehand, which was a very hard-fought 2-1 defeat against Moreton Bay United. Moreton Bay United, who are currently leading the table, having played a game more than Lions. They have a 2-point cushion over Lions, who will go back top today. of course, Moreton Bay United's game against Gold Coast United will have a fair say in that as well. 2 games have already taken place in round 12. That was Western Pride losing in a tight one against Mittleton out in the west. They suffered a 3-2 defeat at Briggs Road. And Logan Lightning, well, they got beaten as well by Souths United, who moved up into 4th spot as a result. The score there out in Logan, 3-1 in favour of Souths. There's plenty to get excited about there for Souths United. Seems to be some movement in the tunnel, and we are expecting to welcome the team and official team out into the field. It'll be just enough time to give you a heads up about some of our sponsors and supporters over the course of the Football Queensland National Premier League's Women's Queensland competition. Capalaba, sponsored by F45 and Hog's Breath, and Lions for hosts, Motorama and Luxury Paints. Total Tools have been a valued sponsor of our officiating team over the last couple of seasons. Ryan Jacobson is the man in the middle today. Sydney Turner and Cooper Newbury will be the guys running the line. And as if by magic, here they come, leading the 2 teams onto the field. Lions will be lining up in a very familiar formation. Number 1, Cassie Zafina in goal. In front of her, Cannon Clough, the American, and Jamila Riley in the 7 shirt. Number 8, Mario Hecker, who's been such an inspirational player over the last season, the Brazilian, 4 Lions. Number 9, Whitney Knight. Number 10, Tegan Riding. Number 12, Sophie Person. Number 13, Catherine O'Neill. Number 19, Beck Horsey. Number 6, Jess Hogg. And number 14, Tanisha Stanley are the starting 11 for Lions in the orange shirts. Mario Hecker is the captain. For the visitors, Capalaba, in goal for them is wearing number 99 shirt, Jessica McLean. And in front of her will be Madeline Finneran. Number 4, Jacinta Perrin. Number 5, Angela Mayer. Number 6, Eloise Wadsworth. Number 7, Steph Latham. Of course, a familiar name to plenty of women's football fans in the state and in the country, of course, for her time with the Raw. Sachiko Tatsuoka is wearing the number 8 shirt. Vicky Lyons, we've already mentioned her, she's in the number 9 shirt. Number 16, Katie Cooperis. Number 19, Abby Lloyd, another player who will need no introduction for football fans in the state, for Brisbane Raw women's player. 22-year-old, having scored 2 goals in her 5 games for Capalaba over the last couple of weeks with the Bulldogs, after finishing that W League season with the Raw. Number 22, Kelly Crew, is the other member of the starting lineup for Capalaba. Pre-match formalities are underway. I'll tell you what, we are in for an absolute belter here today. Should be a cracker of a match. And as I've already mentioned, conditions nigh on perfect for flowing football. The grass has had a bit of a watering from the earlier rain showers. That can only mean for some good, crisp passing football, and that's something that both these teams are more than adept at. If you are new to women's football, welcome. Hope you enjoy yourself. Mario Hecker in the number 8 shirt for Lions is definitely one to watch. The Brazilian has only been playing outdoor football for 3 years. She's a futsal expert, and you'll be able to see that in the way that she controls the ball and has the fast feet of a futsal player. And she's translated that onto the 11-a-side format absolutely brilliantly. Capalaba have broken from their huddle. Lions follow suit shortly after. Really looking forward to this. National Premier League's women's football, 2nd versus 3rd. Lions against Capalaba. Those who have braved the elements and were worth braving earlier on in the day, apologies, are going to be in for a treat today. And of course, all of you watching from home as well. Final checks being done by our Total Tools referee. He's satisfied. And we are very shortly going to be underway in this one. And it's Lions, the hosts, in the orange shirts with the blue shorts, kicking from right to left and instantly on the attack from this left-hand side with Clough. Clough is dispossessed, and here's one of the W League players gracing the National Premier League's women's competition here in Queensland this season, Abby Lloyd, former commentary partner of me as well, back end of last season during Women's Week. Good to see her playing football. She came out and was very open about some of the mental health difficulties that she'd suffered during the season, but she's had a break now, and it's good to see her back on the field. And hopefully she can make an impact. She did make an instant impact with Capalaba, scoring twice in her first 2 games, but it's been 3 games without a goal now for Capalaba. Here come the visitors. Flags up against Vicky Lyons on this near side. She'll be looking to make a real impact in her final game before heading back to Blighty. Good turn in the midfield, and Lyons instantly on the attack from the goal kick. Person was unable to find the pass though, and here's Abby Lloyd. She's going to be up against it though, and battling with Catherine O'Neill, who got there first. Goes back to Zafina in goal, and Zafina and O'Neill conspiring to get that ball away. Good patient football from Lyons. Poor pass in the end there from Hogg. Ball spread wide now for Perrin. Perrin tries to feed Lyons, but it was well intercepted, and now Lyons will spring the counter-attack over on the far side. The ball will stay in over on that far side. Opportunity here in the middle for Riding. Riding is dispossessed though brilliantly by Cooperus, who ended a 4-game goalless run of her own last week against Moreton Bay in that defeat. Here's Lyons. Under plenty of pressure there, she will win the throw-in. Even start this one. Capalaba will be desperate to get themselves back in the winner's circle. Good pace over on that far side, but not pacey enough to beat the ball over the byline, and it'll be a goal kick that Zafina will take. Good start from both sides, just testing each other out, and Capalaba have had some good possession in these opening stages. Lions will have to be at their best to clear their lines, but we've already seen when they do get the ball out, they can be a real threat with their pace. Gone all the way back to Zafina though. Zafina has options on this near side. O'Neill's one of them, but it's left for Clough. Hecker. Plays the ball off for Clough. Clough tries to play the ball in brilliantly for Riding. She plays that perfectly. It's a good tackle in the end though by Capalaba defence. Finneran it was who was back there. What a perfectly placed ball by Cannon Clough. Former North Carolina NCAA star, one of the top colleges in the States. Just placed it perfectly into the path of Tegan Riding, who has 9 goals in 9 games so far. She did score a hat-trick against Souths and 4 against East, so those numbers are slightly exaggerated by those 2 multiple goal tally weeks. She didn't score a fortnight ago, in which Lions had the bye. A 2-0 win over the Gap, Rob Askew's former club. Again, a little bit more of a statement of intent from Lions. Gap are the principal power in women's football and have been for a while here in Queensland. Established order is starting to change somewhat. A little bit too far in advance of Hecker. It's just been a delight to watch every time I've seen her with the ball at her feet so far. She hasn't had too many opportunities so far today though, but plenty of time yet to play. Mayer with the throw to the feet of Abby Lloyd. It's just helped out there. It'll be another throw taken quickly in the direction of Lloyd, but too quickly. The Lions defence was able to scramble. Person with her back to goal uses Hecker. Goes back to O'Neill, and O'Neill goes long, and had to go long really. She was under pressure. Might work out for Lions though. Here's Clough. Has space. And pace to burn. Good run from Clough. Tried to thread the ball in towards Hecker. Hecker is rather manhandled off the ball by Cooperus. Capalaba will build from the back now. Neither side really able to fashion a shot on goal just yet. They threatened, but not quite enough. Riding went in to challenge McLean. McLean got rid of it quickly, and perhaps wisely. Lions have stolen possession though. Here's an opportunity for Hogg. She has her pocket picked, but it's going to come straight back. And it would have had it been able to be kept in over on that far side. Lions just starting to assert themselves in this game after that good start from Capalaba. Perrin wins the throw and takes it quickly inside to Latham. Latham is mugged of the ball, but Capalaba still have possession. Crew goes back to square one and McLean. McLean launches the ball upfield towards Lloyd. Lloyd can't get her head onto it. Clough does. It's helped on towards Hecker, but Hecker doesn't get there before Mayer. Abby Lloyd again dispossessed by O'Neill. Hogg ran out of space and has her pocket picked by Latham. Latham with an early ball in towards Lyons. Lyons is going to go round the keeper here. Lyons is going to put this one in towards goal. Always off target, and she was always falling away from it as well. Hearts in your mouths moment for the Lions fans and Casey Zafina in the Lions goal, but fortunately for the hosts, Vicky Lyons couldn't quite get that ball on target. And we are still locked up at 0-0. Riding might well run onto this. Really good tackle that by Cooperus. Seven goals in 10 games for the centre-back. She launches that ball forward. Zafina's well out of her area, but she didn't make too much contact with that. And Jacinta Perrin gleefully will take the throw after running onto that ball and putting Zafina under the pressure that allowed her to pass it out. Perrin with the cross. Tatsuoka can't get a shot away on the edge of the area. It's deflected out for a throw-in. Good defence at the back there by Beck Horsey. Horsey again just picking the pocket on the edge of the area, but Capalaba are going to send this one straight back. Tatsuoka was free in the middle, but the pass couldn't quite get there, and Latham will be kicking herself at that, because had Tatsuoka managed to see the ball on that edge of the area, you bet your bottom dollar she would have fashioned a shot, or at least tried to play an Abby Lloyd, who was lurking on the edge of the area herself. Good football from Capalaba. I was impressed by their men's team last week, and their women's team are impressing me again, but just as I say that, Latham lets the ball run away from her and allows Lions to come away with it through riding. A little bit of friendly fire there. Finneran hammers that ball into the Capalaba bench. Capalaba bench would appear to be sitting all on the floor. It's perhaps fortunate that they were, because that ball ended up going in at about mid-height. Came off Wadsworth last. Lions ball over on that far side, taken by Stanley. Looking for an option. It's a poor option in the end. Person was the intended target, but it never got to her. Lions will break from the back, though. Horsey turns back the way she came. Hecker finds Clough in all sorts of space. Cross was blocked. Clough had so much space as Lloyd launches that one forward towards Lions. It's not quite on target, though, and it'll be gratefully gathered by Zafina. Nobody appearing to want the ball in the midfield there. Lions do, though, now in their attacking third. Here's Hecker. Clough on the overlap again. They'll need to watch out for that. Capalaba, as Clough puts in a cross. It had to be hammered away brilliantly by McLean in the end because Person was waiting. Hecker. Oh, it's only fallen for Clough. Hecker's in there again. She's so good in tight spaces. She's going to fashion a shot away. That wasn't all that far away from the top corner. Excellent stuff from Mario Hecker. She's got 9 in 9 games as well. Didn't score last time out against the Gap. Has claimed plenty of scalps so far this season, Hecker, who's relishing the captaincy armband bestowed upon her here by Rob Askew. That was a little bit sloppy and Capalaba will break, but fortunately for Stanley, her mistake was covered by her teammates. O'Neill. So much space again for Clough. Clough over the top towards Hecker. Hecker's going to tried to get sandwiched out of it. Hecker a little bit over-enthusiastic in trying to get through that gap. It'll be a free kick to Capalaba. You'd think the visitors will need to start closing down. Cannon Clough, the left back for Lions, wearing the number 3 shirt. She's found herself in so much space already, and if she gets that partnership going with Mario Hecker, who's making a run into the middle now as Tegan Riding picks up the ball. It's aimed towards Hecker, a bit too far ahead of her though, and far too close to Jess McLean, who launches this ball upfield towards Abby Lloyd, who's been starved of service so far, and when she has got it, she's given it away pretty quickly. She's hustling around there at the back though now. Clough doing her defensive duties this time. It's out for a Capalaba ball. Sachiko Tatsuoka was the player who was putting Clough under pressure. She got the ball again and gets the favourable decision from the officiating team. Person couldn't keep it in. The Swede. Former Souths United player. She scored 7 goals in 22 games for Souths last year. She's already got 7 in 8 matches for Capalaba for Lions, so her goal scoring stats are up. Again, the ball just escaping the attentions of a number of players who just sort of waft a foot out of it. Not enough conviction in attempting to get the ball there. It's a little bit better, although I think had Tegan Riding realised how much space she had, she may well have taken the ball under control instead of the flamboyant flick. Clough takes the ball off Abby Lloyd's foot. Mayer. Went back to Cooperus. Here's Abby Lloyd now. Lloyd gets the better of Clough this time. Cuts inside. It's a poor pass from Abby Lloyd. Picked up by Horsey. Excellent interception though, but Horsey there to rectify her own mistake and play the ball forward again, but Capalaba have got it once more. Lloyd for target. It's a poor ball, far too direct, and it'll be easily gathered by Zafina. 2-on-1 again on this near side for Lions, and Clough is the overlapping player once more. She'll be forced to backtrack though. Hecker's continued the run on the wing, but Lions go back inside. Hogg all the way over to the far side, and Stanley. Capalaba pick up possession though. Another turnover in this game. It's been a bit like that so far. Vicky Lyons was unhappy with the way she was being manhandled then, and she has managed to get the decision and a free kick in a threatening position for Capalaba. It looked like Steph Latham was looking to play it back, but that wouldn't have been wise. Crew. Mayer forced back Capalaba with that rather ill thought out free kick routine. Lloyd with the flick, a bit too far away from Lyons though. Lyons is going to chase, not hard enough. Whitney Knight does well to win that ball back over on the far side, and here's Hecker. One player you don't want to be one-on-one with if you're a defender is Mario Hecker. Gets even worse when you have Clough on the overlap. Pass is a little bit too strong though. And she will win a throw-in for her troubles. Good defence from Cooperus again. She's going to need to be right on top of her game, Cooperus. Hecker goes down. Is that a penalty? Just seeing what's happening here. Some discussion going on with the officiating team. It was just outside the box, according to those officials. Just outside. It looked very, very close where the contact was made, and Mario Hecker is experienced enough to fall into the box if the contact was outside regardless. We spoke about promising positions. I don't get much more promising than this. Catherine O'Neill is standing over it. She's only scored one goal so far this season, but I dare say she won't be going for goal here, although Jessie McLean is not the tallest. O'Neill does drift it towards the back post. She might not be the tallest, but she's got a hell of a leap on her, and it was that flying arm that managed to take the ball away from danger and onto the head of Horsey, but Horsey couldn't direct her header on target. Good chance for Lions, but good defence at the same time by Capalaba, who, if they got away with one with the positioning of that foul, they've managed to come away with it quite successfully. 0-0 the score here. Simon Smell bringing you all the action from the National Premier League's women's competition. Round 12 between Lions and Capalaba. Second versus third on the ladder. Two teams of incredible pedigree. Here's Hecker. Clough is in support. Hecker doesn't want the support, but could have used it. It ends up at the feet of Clough now, and here's Hecker. It's worked out for Lions, this one. Hecker's going to have a shot near post. It was comfortably gathered by McLean. It's been a couple of half chances so far, but that's the first real sight at goal that we've seen in this match, and it went the way of the hosts. Speaking of hosts, Queensland is hosting IFCA. It's Australia's only national football-specific coaching conference on the 25th and 26th of May on the Gold Coast. We'll come back to it. Lions on the attack. It's a teasing ball across the middle, brilliantly defended by Cooperus. She needed to be there and needed to be on song because there were two Lions players queuing up to tap that one home past McLean, who would have been helpless at such short range. Brilliant cross from that far side, and Lions have really started to put their foot down now. What can they do from this corner? Hecker is crowding McLean. Riding is there as well. Same towards the back post. Headed off the line, was it? I think Hogg was down. A free kick to Capalaba. Lloyd, nice touch from Lloyd, takes it back inside, but well defended by Horsey. Lions will attack again. Hecker goes down under the attentions of Mayer. Shot comes in, well saved by McLean. Our Total Tools official is getting recommendations from all angles and all colours on the field at the moment. He had a right earful from Vicky Lyons after the free kick was given in the penalty area. And then it was Mario Hecker's turn to proclaim some injustice. It did look like she got taken out by Angela Mayer, it has to be said. It's going to be helped on towards Hecker. Mayer's there to thwart the Lions' ambitions. She's going to have another opportunity to do the same here. This time puts it out for a throw-in. And now we're going to have a bit of a conversation between our Total Tools official and some of the players, and I'll continue where I left off with the IFCA conference. It's Australia's only national football-specific coaching conference for 25th and 26th of May on the Gold Coast. Make sure you can get your delegate pass today at ifca.com.au. And for all the details, check out the Football Queensland website as the rain starts to fall here at Richlands. Just a fine rain. Didn't notice this at first because this season we have a roof here in our commentary scaffold. A little bit of manhandling in the centre circle results in a free kick to Capalaba. It's taken quickly to Lyons. Lyons slips over, trying to thread the ball through to an imaginary opponent. A teammate only she could see. It was worth a shot, though, to play that ball back inside because Lyons was scrambling a little bit there, caught out by the speed at which that free kick was taken. They look to have got themselves back organised again now, though. O'Neill looking for an option, is going to go back, seeing nothing that she liked ahead of her. Those options are opening up a little bit now, though. Good ball played through to Riding, flags up, it looked tight. Lions have been flirting with that offside line on a couple of occasions. That's something we saw in the opening game of the season here against Moreton Bay United. Moreton Bay United, of course, the league leaders. They were beaten on that night by Lions by 2-0. It's the only time Moreton Bay have been defeated this season. Picked up that 2-1 win at John Fredericks Park last week. That ball finds all the way through towards Cooperus. Hecker pressures and Hecker forces the mistake. Lions ball. Hecker. Person might want it back. Instead it's the reverse ball back inside to Riding. Well watched and well gathered by the Capalaba defence. Just prizing away at the little gaps here. Our Lions attempting to find that opening. They've come close, but it is still goalless. Wild challenge by Wadsworth, left her out of position. It's a brilliant cross into the middle. It's well dealt with by Mayer. Capalaba will clear. Hatsuoka, who rode a challenge, plays the ball out to Latham. Latham threads that ball over towards the far side. Look at the pace over there from Wadsworth. We saw her fly out of defence. Sorry, it's not Wadsworth, it's Perrin. Excellent pace. And manages to win a corner for her side. A little bit more advice coming from the mouth of Steph Latham towards our Total Tools official. I actually think he played a fantastic advantage for the foul on Tatsuoka. Did Mr. Jakobsen? What can Capalaba manage from this corner? Abby Lloyd's patrolling threateningly in the middle. It's side netting. It'll be another corner. Came off the head of Stanley. Former Raw NTC player. Marking that near post is being shadowed by Tatsuoka. Lloyd again making a run near post. It's aimed towards Lloyd. She had 4 Lions players, including a goalkeeper, to contend with, and still manages to win a corner. It came off the fist of Cassie Zafina, I think. Third time lucky, perhaps, for Capalaba. Aimed again towards Lloyd, over her head, headed out by Hecker. It's going to come back inside by Latham. Again, Hecker is there, and Hecker is leading the charge out from the back as well. Excellent work from the Brazilian. She captains with a do what I do style approach. Definitely leads from the front. And all of a sudden, it's Capalaba who are at the back looking for an outlet ball. That outlet ball was onto the head of Tatsuoka. She heads it on towards Lines. Lines applies to play the ball wide. Excellent stuff from Capalaba. Perrin looking for an option. Rather got crowded out of it there by a combination of Person and Stanley. And now those two combine to take the ball upfield and over halfway. Riding with the overlapping ball towards Knight. Knight has Hecker in the middle. Knight does brilliantly to get the ball into the middle, onto the head of Hecker. It flashes across the face of goal. Excellent football from Lyons. Excellent cross from Whitney Knight. And an excellent header from Mario Hecker. Just missed the target. We are still locked up at 0-0, but you can't see that situation staying for too long. Really good counter-attacking football from Lyons, and it all started from that interplay between Sophie Person and Beck Horsey at the back. Just how quickly they can transition from defence to attack, Lyons. That's why they're such an entertaining team to watch in the National Premier League's women's competition. No pressure on Cooperus, and now he could have an own goal here. It's going to be the opening goal. I think Perrin got a touch in the end, but it was a mistake by Stanley, who put it past her own keeper, Zafina. A little bit of miscommunication there. And we have the opening goal, and it's gone the way of the visitors. Somewhat against the run of play, but it has been that sort of game where it would take a mistake to make the breakthrough. The breakthrough has come. It's come the way of Capalaba. They lead Lions by 1-0. How will Lions respond? That's Perrin's third goal of the season to go along with the two that she scored against Middleton and the Gap. She's working her way up the table in terms of her goal-scoring prowess. How will Lions respond? Clough tried to anticipate the run of Hecker. Was unable to do so. An unfortunate mistake from Stanley. It was a good ball in from Cooperus. It was a ball that needed dealing with, and it really needed a strong shout from Cassie Zafina. That's not what Tashina Stanley got. Her intervention took it past the outrushing goalkeeper, former Canberra United and Gold Coast United and South Melbourne. She's been around the traps a little bit, Zafina, in her short career so far. Good turnover on that far side. Lions instantly turning defence into attack. Here's Person over on the right-hand side. She tries to go in through on goal into the penalty area. She wins a corner for Lions. Will this be where the home team hit back? They haven't lost a single game yet so far this season. They've only conceded more than once all year as well. It came against Logan in round 6, and that was the only points that Lions have dropped. They have some work to do here to avoid dropping further points. Oh, first time shot. It was Jess Hogg, who does have a goal to her name so far this season against the Thunder. Couldn't get that one on target, but a brave effort on the edge of the penalty area. Jess McLean surely isn't playing for time already, midway through the first half. She was given the hurry up by our officials. It's Lloyd with a touch out wide towards Mayer. Mayer goes forward to Lyons. Lyons put her hand up a little bit but played it out. Some neat interplay there on this near side by Capalaba. Abby Lloyd getting more involved in the game. Hecker. So much time left in this one. Lions won't be panicking. They'll have confidence enough in themselves that they can get themselves back on level terms and beyond. Capalaba, an early goal is just what they needed. Lloyd gets the better of Clough. She's had her pocket picked though by Hecker, who tracking back. Again, Clough and Hecker, that combination on this left-hand side for Lions, doing such good work both in attack and defence. And both have moved into advanced positions now. It's a disappointing ball, and I suppose large, long balls forward that have caused problems for Lions in terms of their effectiveness. And the rain continues to fall. Does seem like McLean is playing for time. A little bit of keepy-uppy there from the Capalaba keeper. You'd say it's unwise to start doing that so early in the game. Clough. It's a good ball to Riding. McLean opted to come and then chose not to. It's a corner. Seems to be some conjecture as to whether that's the right decision, but Lions aren't complaining. They'll be swinging this one in. They weren't able to make the last set piece count. Can they do any better this time? Cannon Clough goes short. She's rolled her shorts and her shirt sleeves up. Despite the relatively cool weather, those of you not in South East Queensland or South East Queensland natives will be aghast at me suggesting that anything around 20 degrees is cool. Nice close footwork from Hecker. Can't squeeze her cross in though with any real venom, and will be cleared, but only as far as Hogg. Person to Hecker. Person's lurking on the edge of the penalty area. No one going further advanced than that though. Knight is half tackled by Tatsuoka and swings a shot in that's comfortably gathered by McLean. Good long kick from McLean. O'Neill and Stanley, who you could say was at fault for that first goal, the opening goal of this game, scored in the end by Jacinta Perrin. She was back to help out on that occasion, and there's another little bit of lack of communication there in the Lions' final third. Tegan Riding trying to lay the ball off wide, and there was nobody on the overlap. Lions need to up their game if they're not going to get caught out here. Just a couple of missed passes and missed opportunities so far going forward. They've otherwise been in exemplary form, Lions. Everything up until that final ball, really. Here's O'Neill. Clough is wide. It's an inviting ball. Teasing one. It's fallen for Person. Capalaba will break. Tatsuoka. The pressure from Hecker. Oh, left Mayer a little bit short, and now the free kick is given. Pressure on the officials, some of these calls angering both sets of players on the field. It's a Quick reminder that the Aldi Mini Roos kickoff is an introductory program for children aged between 4 and 9 years old. Each weekly 45-minute game-based session. Hugely entertaining and enjoyable for the kids. They get a ball, a bag, water bottle and a sticker sheet as well. So it's well worth it for the youngsters. Head to footballqueensland.com.au for more information about your nearest club, whereby you can enrol in the Aldi Mini Roos. Latham. Good pass wide to Perrin. Latham's won a free kick and Perrin's not being allowed to continue her run, much to her disappointment, but an opportunity now for Capalaba to swing a ball into a dangerous area. Vicky Lyons already has her hands up, waiting for it. She's standing alongside Abby Lloyd. Same towards Lyons, and it was to Lyons' feet, and you have to question the defence that allows the ball to land at the feet of an attacker in that situation. High boot from Tatsuoka will result in a free kick inside Lyons' defensive half. Launched forward quickly. And again, a wasted delivery from Lyons. Some anger at the back, suggesting that Clough went in a little bit hard on McLean. Nice one-touch football from Lyons to break out at the back here. Here's Horsey. Horsey inside. It's that final ball again. Hecker's making a nuisance of herself, though. It will be a throw-in for Lyons in an attacking position. Clough to Hecker. Hecker wins a corner. Angela Mayer becoming a thorn in Mario Hecker's side so far this evening. She's not going to go away. Fascinating battle there between those two players. Just get the feeling that Hecker, we haven't seen the best of her yet. Angela Mayer will have to still be alert. Corner swept in towards the penalty area. Capalaba will clear though, through Perrin. Scorer of the first goal here. Capalaba leading Lions by 1-0. Tatsuoka. Pace again being shown by Perrin. O'Neill plays it out for a throw-in. Capalaba again on the attack. Been impressive so far, the visitors. A couple of disappointing results, and Daniel Baker has managed to get his team up for this one. They could so easily have managed to scrape a draw against Moreton Bay United last week at John Frederick Park. They're unfortunate not to do so in the end, but they did fall to that 2-1 defeat. Have scored in every game so far this season, Capalaba, it's worth noting. Finding the back of the net hasn't been a problem, as we've already mentioned. Lions will come away with it, though. Hecker over on the right wing now. Good ball in towards Knight, but it's well cut out. And Capalaba's defence so well organised. Led once again by Cooperus. She's been titanic at the back so far. Person shoulder to shoulder, no foul. Good decision from the referee for mine. Here's Knight. It's rather weak effort in the end from Tegan Riding. Not sure whether she was looking for a runner or attempting to catch Jess McLean out. In the end, she did neither. There was no runner, and perhaps she saw that out the corner of her eye in the end. Hecker's switched wings, and it seems to be working quite effectively for Lions so far. Cross is swept in by Stanley. Won't go out for a corner, though. McLean will gather. Just changing things up a little bit, Lions. And as enjoyable as the battle has been between Hecker and Mayer, we're going to have to wait a little bit for the second instalment. Finneran. Her pass is picked off by Hecker. Then well read again by Kupras. Said that a couple of times today. Abby Lloyd's going to run into this one. Her eyes lit up. Vicky Lyons was there as well. It's hooked away for a throw-in. Applause from both. Capalaba's attacking threats then for the ball in. Real difficult one to deal with for the Lions defence, but they did so more than capably. And repelled the threat once again, at least for now. Swept in again. It's come off the head of O'Neill, I think, for a corner. Again, aimed towards the area where Lyons and Lloyd are waiting. Lyons, who's scored 12 goals in 10 games so far. We've already mentioned 3 games without a goal. Such a brilliant attacking threat. She's already scored more goals than she managed last season. She had 11 in 21 games last year for Capalaba. So this corner is swept in once more onto the head of Lyons. It's headed up in the air by her opposite number Knight, though. Lloyd with a good piece of skill on the edge of the area, but Hecker manages to pick up possession, and Lyons will look to break quickly here. Here's Person. Person gets some pace up when she gets a bit of space in front of her. Looked for that miracle ball all the way through that mass of bodies towards Riding, though, and it was the wrong option. She gets the ball back, though, tries to make amends. It's off the head of Mayer. And then Clough, that's a disappointing outcome to that particular move. Again, a cross-come shot that tried to pick out that near top corner, capitalising perhaps on the size of Jess McLean. We've already mentioned isn't the tallest. She's proven herself more than adept to deal with any of the aerial threat that Lions have possessed so far. Here's Vicky Lyons up against Jamila Riley. Lyons plays the ball off Riley for a throw-in. Tatsuoka makes the run, turns quickly. It's dispossessed by a combination of Lions players. Hecker may look to go wide, instead chooses to maintain possession and look for a better option. Finds that better option. Again, it's that ball forward that lets Lions down, though. Jess Hogg that time not picking out the right pass, or not putting enough weight on it at least. Getting into promising positions and promising attacking positions as well, but that ball from the midfield isn't quite there. Here's Hecker. Wide to Clough. All sorts of space for Clough, but her first touch lets her down and allows Angela Mayer to get back. Hecker. Back inside to Clough. Clough's going to shape to shoot. Instead, she crosses it centrally. It's hacked clear by Finneran. And back to help out is Jacinta Perrin, who will hammer this ball forward. It'll be picked up, though, by Horsey. Horsey to O'Neill. O'Neill goes past one. It's opening up for O'Neill here. O'Neill with the shot. It's deflected behind for a corner. Not a single Capalaba player closed down the centre-back for Lions, and O'Neill, having got a taste, is going to stay up for this corner. Parting of the seas, really. Capalaba, not a single player wanted to close down the Lions centre-back. That cross comes in from a set piece that didn't quite go to plan for Lions, but they do still have possession. Tanisha Stanley overruns it, puts a good cross in though. Capalaba will clear. Here's Lyons. He closed down by Riley. Riley does well. Lyons plays the way she's facing back to Steph Latham. Wadsworth will go back to square one and McLean. McLean puts everything into that one to get it up to Abby Lloyd, who was surprised by the lack of control from O'Neill but still couldn't capitalise. Good work by Vicky Lyons. Put pressure on the Lions defence. Here's Clough though in space. Clough uses Knight inside her. Hogg. Poor ball by Riding. Didn't look up before passing it. Hecker was the option though. Person, the latest to try and find her. Gets her in the end. And a little bit of a push and shove there from Hecker. She's got that in her. Seen it a couple of times this season, but I don't think there's anything particularly malicious. She just wants to get on with the game. Excellent work by Perrin. Really good stuff at the back from the youngster. Capalaba will look to break now. Perrin had continued her run. Pulled up short over on that far side. That is half-time, in fact. Entertaining half of football between these two sides, and it's Capalaba who have the upper hand so far. Capalaba leading Lions by a 1-0. It was a goal that was tapped home by Jacinta Perrin after the hard work, unfortunately for the Lions defender, was done by Tanisha Stanley. It was Katie Cooperis who put a ball in that had to be dealt with. It was dealt with, but Tanisha Stanley, in doing so, managed to poke the ball past Zafina, who didn't call out when she perhaps should have. And the touch from Tanisha Stanley just took the ball away from Cassie Zafina and allowed Jacinta Perrin, who we've seen exhibit a number of times so far this half, that electric pace, managed to get in and poke the ball home. 45 minutes of entertaining football to come, though. We'll be back at Lions Stadium after these short messages.
Why do I play football?
Why do we play football? I play for fitness.
For competition.
Community spirit.
Keep healthy and safe.
And fun.
I play for celebration.
What's your reason? Join our team.
We swear a lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
Why do I play football?
Why do we play football?
I play for fitness,
For competition.
community spirit.
Keep healthy and safe.
And fun.
I play for celebrations.
What's your reason? Join our team.
Football Queensland Futsal State Titles run across 9 different age group divisions. Around about 450 to 460 players playing across 3 different venues that we've got, and it's the pinnacle event for futsal here in Queensland.
The highlight for me this weekend is just seeing how many young kids are here, eagerly watching every single match. Can't wait to get on the court to participate, and then really enjoying their games and buzzing when they come on.
We want to provide a pathway for players all the way through from a social aspect of futsal all the way through to the highest level. And so the competition acts as a possible pathway and gives them opportunity to get better at the sport. And we also know that the players that are involved in futsal, a lot of them are involved in football as well, and improves their technique across the board.
We swear a lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about.
Wait!
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Smoking big cigars. I hope you're ready for what's coming now. I'm the one on the lady that will bring you down. There's a joint on the corner where the big boys play, where the whiskey's running like the rivers, but they all never come for the booze and bass. I'm the one on the lady that'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. Rock this place. Rock this place. Rock this place. All you men with the suits and ties, just sitting in the crowd smoking big cigars. I hope you're ready for what's coming now. I'm the one on the lady that will bring you down. There's a joint on the corner where the big boys play, where the whiskey's running like the rivers, but they all never come for the booze and bass. I'm the one on the lady that'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. Rock this place. Rock this place. Rock this place.
Hit it!
magnificent from Kato Iochi.
Welcome back to Lions Stadium out here in Richlands, where Capalaba lead for hosts by a 1-0. It was a goal that came from a mistake at the back by Lions. It was Tanisha Stanley who attempted to intercept a KT Cooperus through ball that was aimed towards one of Vicky Lyons or Abby Lloyd, who've been causing a few problems for the Lions defence up front for Capalaba, but in making an intervention, she managed to put the ball past Cassie Zafina, and that allowed Jacinta Perrin to just pop home and do the honours by tapping the ball over the line. But Rob Askew sent his team out pretty quickly after half-time. There was a short conversation, I imagine, in the box where he perhaps lamented that his side weren't able to get their final balls in order. And as the teams came out, the Lions players were involved in their own individual discussions, and Rob Askew came and spoke to Tanisha Stanley just in front of us here in our commentary position. Tanisha Stanley is very upset, and I think you need to just be able to put that behind you as a centre-back. Centre-backs make mistakes, and right-backs make mistakes. You just need to be able to put that behind you. It's a combination of things. Zafina's call not being loud enough, good ball in by KT Cooperus, who's been an absolute colossus at the back for Capalaba. It is Capalaba who get things underway in the blue shirts, kicking from right to left. Here is the aforementioned Tanisha Stanley. It's a good ball. Surely she had to be offside, didn't she, to Tegan Riding? Certainly what Steph Latham is shouting about in the middle. Lions still have possession. A free kick instead goes the way of Lions, and a little bit of a knee-on-knee collision, I think, there with Jess Hogg and Steph Latham. That won't please Latham much at all. As Hogg tries to limp that knock off, sorry. She just trots back into the defensive line. But yeah, it's just Tanisha Stanley looked very upset and looked to be wiping away tears. But what I will say is that Mariel Hecker, the captain, came over and really put her arm around her, and that's what you want to see from a captain. Free kick is driven in hard by Catherine O'Neill. She can't add to the one goal that she scored so far this season. An early opportunity for Lions. And just back on that point, Hecker came over, chatted to Tanisha Stanley, put her arm around her, had a conversation, and a couple of the other Lions players did as well. Zafina amongst them. And that's what you want to see as Hecker gets herself on the ball now, getting in behind the defence. She's thwarted in her attempt to make a run into the area by Katie Cooperus, though, and Capalaba will build. That is what you want to see, but at the same time, some of these young players need to understand that there's 45 minutes still to play and there's a job at hand to do, and she needs to be at her best in order to make sure that Lions can get back on level terms. Speaking of level terms, here's Riding with the shot. Good save by Jess McLean. She had a couple of bites at it. That's a really, really good stop, and Tegan Riding, who perhaps got the ball a little bit fortuitously come back to her, did really, really well to gather that one. Couple of early opportunities for Lions who have come out firing. They weren't bad in the first half, they just couldn't quite find the final ball, and that would disappoint Rob Askew. Perhaps that's why he sent his team out so early. Having said that, the players seem to be in pretty positive mood and mindset. Tanisha Stanley aside. Lions are going to keep this one in. Ball is drifted in towards the middle and Knight. It's come off the back of Riding. Capalaba do eventually clear, but this is good stuff from Lions. Hecker, so dangerous in these tight control situations, finds Riding with her pass. Riding gets to the byline. Ball's hacked away before it can get to Knight, and then given another helping hand. O'Neill struggling to get it under control, gets there eventually. Riley. Stanley just tried to thread the ball through towards Knight, who was waiting for the ball to do the work. Was unable to get the better of her opponent, and it's out for a throw-in, which Stanley will take. Person comes short. Instead it's towards Knight. Via Person it comes back to Stanley. Riley. O'Neill's central. Instead the safe option back to Savina. Clough. Horsey. Back to O'Neill. O'Neill with a slight shake of the hips. Takes Vicky Lyons out the game. Riley. Riding. A little bit sloppy from Riding. She's dispossessed. Abby Lloyd inside to Tatsuota. Person tries to thread the needle to Knight. Knight gets in behind here. Knight all the way back to Tegan Riding. The hands go up straight away. It was a poor effort, really, in such a promising position. Lions are going to make their first substitution. Jess Hogg makes way and makes way quite quickly. Winnie Heatley is the player who comes on, a player who was told could only play 45 minutes today. Former junior Matilda. She's going to be given those 45 minutes, and Lions have even accounted for stoppage time as well. Good touch by Stanley. Stanley, good ball inside tonight. Riding makes suggestions that she was being fouled of a referee. I don't think she was. It was good defence at the back by Capalaba once again. But that's good work from Tanisha Stanley. She started this second half brightly. Heatley goes back to Riley. Riley's going to go back to Zavina. Clough has space. O'Neill. O'Neill's going to go long. That's the type of ball that wasn't really working for Lions in that first half. And that has been proven the case here in the second as well. Tatsuoka goes back to Crew. And Crew's through ball towards Perrin. Picked up by Zafina. Clough. Inside to Horsey. Much more up-tempo this second half. Lions look to get back on level terms. Hecker on the left. Wants the return ball. Is crowded out of it a little bit by Mayer, who may have just left a little leg out there. Still there for Lions. Riding. Riding still has possession. Wants an option. Doesn't have one. Kelly Crew ended up on the floor. Person gestured towards her to say, "What are you doing down there?" Here's Heatley. Good touch from Heatley. Heatley gets out of trouble, but the touch from Tatsuoka just takes it past her. And Capalaba will build from the back, and they are being forced back here by Lions. An orange wave as Person couldn't quite get on the end of that. Her opposite number, Crew, plays the ball forward now. Latham. Capalaba getting their foot on the ball all of a sudden again. But Latham has her pocket picked by Lions captain Hecker. Person. Thinks she'll go herself. Inside towards Hecker. Throw in to Lions. It'll be taken by Cannon Clough. American looking for an option. There's no movement. So she goes to Hecker, who tends to only move when she's got the ball at her feet and with such devastating effect. Riding was a little bit casual there, but it's picked up by Heatley. Heatley back inside to Hecker. Heatley's got it back. No space to shoot though, so she tries to get one away. Riding. Knight. Knight's going to put the cross into Riding! It flashes across the face. It's going to stay in, I think. Clough keeps it in. Clough engaged in a right old battle there. Did she get clipped? There's no complaints from the American. She stays on her feet. And after all that, it is going to be a Capalaba throw-in over on that far side. Wonderful opportunity for Lions. Knight and Riding linking up well. And if that ball had been a metre further in field, Mario Hecker was there to poke it home at the back post. Capalaba still on the charge now. Person with the turn. Lovely tackle there by Cooperus. Cooperus has been brilliant, and she's having to be brilliant now as Lions start to turn the screw. Good tackle at the back there, though, by O'Neill. O'Neill to Hecker. Hecker can't squeeze her ball out towards Riding. It's still for Lions, though. Clough. That's poor in the end from Clough. She was rather put off by the presence of Perrin and turned herself into a spot of bother. She chastigates herself over on that far side as well. Lions are really starting to put the pressure on. The rain that we had in the first half has abated. Once again, we have perfect conditions for good passing football, and both these sides have proven quite adept at doing that so far this match, and indeed this season. Here's Abby Lloyd looking for an option, chooses to go through Jamila Riley. Lions will build from the back, although it was almost given away to Steph Latham. Lions will take their time over getting rid of the ball this time. O'Neill. Lovely ball. Lovely outlet ball towards Knight. Knight doesn't have much of an option, so chooses to play it off the defender, and it'll be out for a throw-in. Tanisha Stanley will go inside to Heatley. Heatley in a little bit of trouble, but manages to get out of it. Winnie Heatley. Real talented player in the midfield for Lions. And the Roar. It's a good challenge by Jacinta Perrin, but it'll be a Lions ball. I don't think Jacinta Perrin thought so, but that's how our Total Tools team saw it. All the way back to McLean. Touched by Heatley. She's made a difference since she's come on. Stanley. Here's Knight. Knight on the charge. Inside to Person. Person looking for the return ball. Cooperus was there to hammer it away. Lloyd gives forlorn chase as Jamila Riley plays the ball back to Zafina. O'Neill. Clough has space again on that left-hand side. She plays it forward towards Hecker. Hecker will play it inside to Heatley, who has space in the middle all of a sudden. Space really opening up. Capalaba putting men behind the ball. Stanley is going to cut back inside. Finds its way to Person. That wasn't its intended target. Its intended target was Riding, and she'd made a run into the middle. It was well blocked off. Can Capalaba counter-attack, though? Good ball from Lions towards Abby Lloyd. Zafina did well with the clearance. Could have been disaster there at the back for Lions. Clough, brilliant control into Hecker. High-tempo stuff, this. Riding into the penalty area. She gets to the byline. Knight is in the middle. Ball never gets to her, though. It's good defence again from Capalaba. Good positioning from the defenders as well. Really cut off all the angles that Whitney Knight was hoping to utilise. And a rare mistake from Jess McLean, who hammers that one out on the full. Hecker receives the long throw by Clough. Clough tries to thread the needle. She can't do so, and now she's out of position. And here comes Capalaba through Jacinta Perrin. Takes it round Heatley. Can't find a teammate, though. Although the ball has ended up at the feet of Tatsuoka. She can't thread the ball through towards Lloyd. Hecker all the way back. She'll switch play brilliantly over Tanisha Stanley on this near side. And Stanley has acres from which to run into. She passes early to Knight. Tempo so much higher in this second half. Knight goes past one. Looks for options in the middle. It's a poor pass again by Lions in that final third. And Capalaba will break now. Lloyd, what can she do? Almost picks the pocket of Riley. But once again, it's Stanley there. Lions defending in numbers as well, or using those numbers more effectively in this second half. Hecker. Person makes a run. Neat football from Hecker. Hecker receives it back. This would be glorious. Hecker goes down. Penalty! The Capalaba players are complaining dramatically, but you have to say, referee was right on the spot. Hecker with that glorious touch inside to Person. It deserved something. It turns out what it's been given is a penalty. And it will be Sophie Person, the Swede, who has an opportunity to slot home from the spot. She has scored 7 goals in 8.5 appearances so far this season. It's Person versus McLean. Person comes out on top. We're all level again here at the Lion Richlands. It's Lions 1, Capalaba 1. That is nothing short of what Lions have deserved in this second half. The tempo has been up. Rob Askew clearly wasn't happy at half-time, but every single player out there on the field has stepped up. And finally we saw some magic from Mario Hecker. And it was that move that resulted in the penalty that Person confidently stroked home. How are Capalaba going to respond now? And will Lions be able to maintain this high-tempo press? Knight. Bit too cute from Knight. Has her pocket picked by Tatsuoka. Heatley has her pocket picked definitively by Lloyd. Perrin. Surely that's a free kick. No, says our Total Tools referee. Perrin ended up on her backside. Lloyd wanted the return ball. And it couldn't get to her due to some fairly robust defending by the home side. Don't want to mess around with the ball there, Angela Mayer. Not with Mario Hecker in such sprightly form in this second half. Sprightly is not quite the word. Exuberant, flamboyant, fantastic. Here we go again, another example. The overhead flick. She keeps the ball in. Teasing Mayer. She plays the ball back to Clough. Person. It's a poor ball in the end. Finneran will hammer this ball clear. Lloyd will just head it away. Pressure was coming from Tanisha Stanley. She would have heard the footsteps thundering in behind her. Abby Lloyd just heads the ball upfield where she hoped Vicky Lyons would be, and Lyons was not there. O'Neill. Lots of space again for Stanley. Stanley's going to go on a little run here. Some sensible runs ahead of her. One of those was Knight out wide. Knight has options in the middle. She's going to go back post towards Hecker. Person's there. Used the body to bump Latham. Latham did well. Here's Lyons. What can Lyons do in this situation? Back to goal. Uses her body against Riley. Still there for Lyons, the Englishwoman. And Jamila Riley said, I've had enough of this. I'll hammer it out for a throw-in. Good football in this second half. I enjoyed the first half, but I'm really into this second one. Simon Smale with you on the call for the National Premier League's Women's Queensland competition between Lions and Capalaba. Round 12 action, and Capalaba, who led early, have been pegged back to 1-1 due to the fantastic high-intensity press from Lions in this second half. Here they come again. Knight tried to thread the ball in. Kelly Crew goes forward to Latham. Latham tried to find Perrin, who has got pace to burn. Well cut out by Clough. Hecker. Closed down by Mayer. Has Clough on the overlap. Goes inside to Person. Person may well use Clough. Instead, she plays the ball forward, ill-advisedly towards Riding. It was off target. And now that's good use of the body by Lyons. Manages to shrug the attentions of Beck Horsey away. Will be a Capalaba throw. Crew. It's played forward now to Latham. Latham is crowded out. Good defence by Finneran, though, in an advanced position. Latham's going to go forward. Lovely tackle by Heatley. And Lions will have possession. O'Neill goes long. Knight's going to capitalise on the mistake by Wadsworth, though. Knight closed out by Cooperus. The importance of some of these interventions by Katie Cooperus cannot be underestimated. She has been absolutely fantastic. She's proving to be so once again. Lions held the ball up, but Lions will come away with it. Riding. Riding may have picked the pocket of Mayer here. Mayer recovered well. Pressure still comes on from the girls in orange. Here's Hecker. Hecker just crosses into the middle and Knight. Great control from Abby Lloyd. Lovely work from Abby Lloyd. Here's an opportunity for Capalaba. It's 3-1 in favour of the Lions' defence, and then the pass was just behind Vicky Lyons. After some wonderful work by the Brisbane Roar W League player Abby Lloyd. Person, heavy touch. Tries to cut back inside Kelly Crew, but no nonsense from Crew. She manages to steal possession. Perrin. Just into Perrin, who scored the opener for Capalaba in the first half. Lovely ball over the top to Lyons. Lyons up against Riley. Riley does well. Lyons goes down. I don't think it was via a collision. She gives a round of applause to her teammates for putting her in that promising position. Latham can't win the corner, and O'Neill will look for an outlet ball. That outlet ball is in the direction of Knight. Knight controls, trying to draw Wadsworth out of position. Does so. Horsey back inside now to Knight. Knight's going to go on a run. That's a lovely ball through towards Tegan Riding. Riding has no support in the middle. She skips past one challenge of Finneran, though. Plays in towards Hecker. Hecker somehow comes up with it. She doesn't have much support either, except for on the edge with Knight. It was flicked towards Person. Capalaba are going to conspire to clear this. Person making a nuisance of herself in the face of Sachiko Tatsuoka. And Capalaba get their foot on the ball and take a deep breath. Eloise Wadsworth looking for an option ahead of her. She finds Clough. And then the ball forward ends up in a bit of a tangle between Wadsworth and Hecker. It's an interesting option taken by Tegan Riding. Just hoping for a run to be made when none was forthcoming. McLean puts everything into these clearances. Another one that sails over halfway. Lions will deal with it fairly comfortably though. A reverse pass by Zafina. Almost puts Clough into an awkward position, but it's worked its way across to Horsey. Now Heatley. Excellent work from Heatley. Drew her marker and then allowed all the space in the world for Tanisha Stanley. Stanley wide to Knight. Knight's going to take on her marker. Goes past her marker to the byline. Gets a cross in near post. It's side netting. Lovely work once again from Whitney Knight. A round of applause is for the departing Vicky Lyons, departing in every sense of the word. That will be the last time she runs onto a field for Capalaba, at least in this stint. Never say never for a return, of course. Anna Ringrose is the player who comes on for Capalaba's leading goal scorer. It will prompt a slight change in situation, and the plaudits are coming in thick and fast for Vicky Lyons. She's getting plenty of hugs on the bench. The action is happening on the field, and it's mostly happening by way of left to right as you see it. A wave of orange. The orange tide is turning here at Lions Stadium, if it hasn't turned already. Ball is unceremoniously hammered into the sideline by Kelly Crew. Oh, long throw into Riding. I think a first-time shot could have caused all sorts of problems to Jess McLean there. Easier said than done, of course, and certainly easier from up here to suggest these sorts of things. Heatley, she's just wanted to be on the ball since she's come onto the field. Knight gets lucky and the ball stays with her. Riding's tried a little bit too often to let the ball run past her when she's had the attentions of a blue-shirted defender. It hasn't worked out. Good ball inside, though, by Capalaba. It wasn't picked up in the end by Perrin, and it'll be Capalaba who have the throw over on that far side as once again you feel the momentum slightly shifting. Have Capalaba weathered that storm from Lions, as we have here as spectators? Perhaps the storm's not over. Surely offside is Tegan Riding. I'm sure the flag would have gone up had play been allowed to continue and the ball not ended up in the hands of Jess McLean, but hard to know sometimes. Knight. A bit too far ahead of Hecker. Ringrose will go up against Hecker, but that's not going to go out. It's not going to help Ringrose. And it is, in fact, a throw into Lions. That pressure from Marielle Hecker doing the business. Strength shown by Persson. Persson cuts the ball back inside. Still there. Persson with the shot in the end. It's a goal kick. A couple of challenges being ridden in the penalty area there. Tegan Riding and Sophie Persson just connecting. Persson who levelled the scores from the penalty spot. Perrin has popped up on this near side of the field as part of that shuffle. She's pleading that she might have got a free kick. It wasn't forthcoming, but Capalaba have the ball anyway. Lloyd and Latham just getting their wires crossed a little. You can't help but think that Perrin would have been useful to have in that move had she not been remonstrating with the officiating team. Maybe she put Sachiko Satsuoka off and playing that ball quickly. Almost worked out for Capalaba though, so shouldn't be too critical. Capalaba are going to have to be alert here. They are. Now Crew. If you're enjoying this, just a reminder that every single National Premier League's Queensland game is being streamed this season from a men's perspective, then a game of the week for the women and the Football Queensland Premier League, as some defence is needed to be doing here. Excellent defence in the end it was, though, from Capalaba, despite the attentions of the Lions forwards. Stanley under pressure there, and she's up against Perrin now, who played that ball inside to Lloyd. She gets it back and goes wide to Satsuoka. Satsuoka with the cross. It's a poor one in the end, and Lions will build from the back now. A bit too far away from Riding, who was a bit flat-footed. Pass should have been better, in all honesty, though. Pace has just come out of the game a little bit. And then at the back, Ringrose was caught, and Ringrose is going to be shown a yellow card. First yellow card of the game. We're waiting for this free kick to be taken once again. Whether you're just starting out or have been doing it for years, there's a club for you to play football in 2019. 2,200 of them, in fact, across the country. There's bound to be one just right for you or your child. Girls and boys can start playing for a club from the year they turn 6. So what are you waiting for? Head to playfootball.com.au and find your local club today. And one day you could be playing in the National Premier League's women's competition, which is a proven pathway for the W League and beyond. Stanley still full of running. Neat ball inside to Knight. Knight chips across to the back post. We have the go-ahead goal. And it's come off the head of Tegan Riding. What a beautiful passage of play from Lions. It came from the energy of Stanley. The through ball to Knight and the cross to Riding. Excellent football. Lions lead 2-1. And again, nothing short of what Lions have deserved. They've come from behind here at Richlands. Lions lead 2-1. Glorious football. That'll make Tanisha Stanley feel better. She's been really impressive in this second half. She's going to be called upon here in a defensive aspect against Perrin. She holds Perrin up well and forces her back to Wadsworth. Lions still full of running, and that was a rather rushed clearance by Finneran. And it's just going to come right back at her. Heatley. Heatley, that's the first misplaced pass I think I've seen from her today. She entered the fray at half-time, and the tide well and truly turned at that point. Though Lions did start brightly before she actually came onto the field. Good effort from Mayer, but she can't keep it in. She'll have to be starting to feel it in her legs, you'd have thought. Angela Mayer, she's been given a real run around by a combination of Cannon Clough and Mario Hecker. Clough with a decent long throw in towards Person. Hecker picks it up, thanks to the efforts of Clough, who dispossessed Latham. Latham's got... it's Abby Lloyd, in fact, who's got the better of Clough, who got her own back and stole the ball back. Good little battle going on there. It's a strange clearance. Rare mistake from O'Neill. Latham tried to help that one on towards Lloyd. It never got there. Lloyd cutting quite a frustrated figure at the moment. It's back inside to Heatley, and Heatley has space. Knight wants it. Knight was flirting with the offside line, but I think she would have been okay had the ball got through to her. Perrin has pace. Brilliant tackle in the end by Stanley. And Stanley's going to go the other way now. Almost thread that ball through. Cops a bit of a shoulder from Perrin for her troubles. But it's been an impressive comeback from Tanisha Stanley, who was who was in tears at half-time, just before kick-off of the second half, in fact, for her part in Capalaba's opening goal, where she got her wires crossed with Cassie Zafina and managed to poke the ball past her own keeper and allowed Perrin to slot home from all of half a yard. She has responded brilliantly to whatever half-time chat either Rob Askew or Mario Hecker managed to have. And I dare say it was a combination of the two, maybe even good cop, bad cop. We'll have to check after the match with Rob Askew about that. But I was impressed with the way Hecker went over and spoke to her young teammate. She certainly collected her thoughts brilliantly. Corner for Lions. Can they double their advantage? Clough. That's a teasing cross in. It's landed at the feet of Knight. Confusion in the box. Hecker. Whistle had already gone. We are going to see another Capalaba substitution. Eloise Wadsworth is sprinting off the field. No more time wasting from Capalaba now. They're behind. Extraordinary in the first half when Jess McLean started slowing things down so early on. Michaela DeSavia is on the field. First appearance of the season for DeSavia. Crew and Knight doing battle there. It's at the feet of Person. Bit short for Hecker. Stanley goes back to Zafina. Zafina goes long. It might find its way through to Knight, who used a well-timed shoulder just to put Jacinta Perrin off. Perrin's down holding her knee, on her haunches at least, and that's allowed the ball to be played past her to Knight. Knight's going to cut back inside. It's opened up for Knight here. Tatsuoka was back. It's still going to be there for Heatley though. Clough. Hecker. Clough continued her run. Hecker finds her. Still there for Clough. Good defence by Mayer. It will be a corner though. Mayer's aghast at that decision. Hard to tell from this angle who got the final touch. Hecker makes a run. It's over her head. Will find its way all the way through though. Stanley, poor cross. Capalaba will break. It was a pressure relieving ball out, but to no one in particular, and Lions will build again. Heatley goes back to O'Neill. O'Neill with that distinctive almost swoosh of the foot to Clough. More conventional this time to Riley. Riley goes back to O'Neill. Stanley. Stanley goes past Perrin. Lovely work from Stanley. She finds Knight. Knight has time to pick her spot. Oh, flashes across the face from Person, I think. Stanley had continued her run and made a bit of a hash out of the swinging ball. Oh, no, apologies, she hadn't. It was Whitney Knight, I think, who was in the middle. It's Tegan Riding, sorry, who was in the middle. Regardless, the ball didn't go in the back of the net, so it doesn't matter too much who didn't put it in there. Capalaba have the ball. Perrin. Lloyd. Plays the ball against Horsey, and flag goes up this time against Riding. She has been flirting with that offside line on a number of occasions so far. She shakes her head, disagreeing with the decision. Kupras. Good ball over towards that far side, and Mayer it was, but O'Neill's back there and she hammers the ball out into the Capalaba dugout for a throw-in. Time is of the essence now for Capalaba. Heatley. The touch took it past Lloyd. Stanley. Riding. First time pass in towards Hecker. Kupras needed to be perfect, and she was. Hammers the ball out for a throw-in. Pace has started to come out of the game finally. Unbelievable start to the second half. The Lions players were full of running and full of beans and putting the pressure on all over the pitch, although the majority of it to the right-hand side of your screens, because that's where the majority of the play was taking place. Lions really dominating at the start of the second half, and they earned their reward. 2 goals in this second half. Sophie Person from the penalty spot and Tegan Riding with a wonderful header at the back post after some beautiful football involving Whitney Knight and Tanisha Stanley. Lloyd is going to find Perrin. Perrin has pace. Zafina was alert to the danger and rushed out to play the ball to Riley. Good tackle by Lloyd on Riding. Lions now taking their time over these set plays. Tanisha Stanley. Horsey's ball comes back to her via the head of Cooperus. Now O'Neill driving the ball forward once again. Clough made the run. It was well spotted by O'Neill. Defence was good. It was the first touch from Mayer and then the sliding effort from Cooperus. If Lions do take the points here tonight, it won't be due to the efforts of Cooperus, who's been outstanding at the back for Capalaba, absolutely everywhere. She's given away a corner here. Will Lions be able to capitalise? Oh, first time shot from Knight. He had space. We're going to see the final substitution of the night, and it's going to be Catherine Tibbles, who comes on, I think. Saw that correctly. And she is going to replace Kelly Crew. Last roll of the dice for Daniel Baker. They'll stay third, Capalaba, even if they don't pick up any points tonight. Souths United a point behind them, but having already played and won this weekend, a 3-1 victory away at Logan. Gold Coast United taking on Moreton Bay United in the other match. I have no updates of that score, I'm afraid. Oh, it's a dangerous ball across the head of Abby Lloyd. She was very close to getting onto the end of it, but it falls at the feet of Stanley, who gives it away to Perrin. Now Abby Lloyd has it. Good energy from Stanley. But Lloyd's pass inside towards Cooperus, who's started to venture forward, seeing if she can have the same impact in the attacking third of the field as she's had in the defensive one for Capalaba. She might be needed at the back, though, because that ball was played in towards Riding. It was well dealt with, though, by Finneran. Now the pace of Latham, stretching those 33-year-old legs. Riley did well to come across. It's still a Capalaba throw, though. The score is 2-1 to Lions. A goal here for Capalaba. Needless to say, will draw things back level, and Lions' dominance in this second half will have been to naught. No foul, says the referee. Interesting, everyone in the grandstand. Particularly Tegan Riding, who was appeared to be flung to the ground by Anna Ringnose. Lloyd plays it out. It is a throw-in to Lions. It looked like Ringrose had a big chunk of Tegan Riding's shirt and bundled her to the ground, but that's not how our officials saw it. It seemed pretty clear cut from where we were, but we are a long way away here, the opposite side of the field to the clubhouse. How about that pace? Teasing ball. Unfortunately for Lions, there was nobody there at all to meet it. Horsey's going to leave this for Tanisha Stanley. Stanley, who initially ran over with alacrity to take this, just decided to slow things down a little. Perhaps remembering that her team are trying to see out this match. Tatsuoka got there just before Horsey. And Jamila Riley got there just before DeSavia. Heatley's just had her pocket picked by more experienced Latham and Lloyd. What can Lloyd conjure up here? Lloyd goes back towards Tatsuoka. Good work from Lloyd. Cooperus. Shot's going to come in. It's tipped over the crossbar. Ringrose it was with an audacious effort. A fantastic save from Zafina. At full stretch to tip that one onto the top of the crossbar, and Capalaba were that close to getting the equaliser here. And all of a sudden, Lions are having to defend. Tatsuoka comes short. It was a decoy. It's headed clear by Persson. Oh, excellent work by Riding. A dummy that sent half the crowd the wrong way. He's doing battle hard against Perrin, but Perrin comes out on top. Perrin back inside now towards Cooperus. Cooperus goes wide to Tatsuoka. Tatsuoka went down under the attentions of Stanley, but there was minimal contact, if any. Tatsuoka drifts this one in towards Lloyd. Lloyd with the flick on. Hammered away by Clough. Clough doesn't get ahead to that one, though, and it's Hecker who's back there defending, and she just puts that one into space. Ringrose, whose shot almost created a spectacular equaliser for Capalaba, on the ball now. Plays that ball forward towards Clough. Clough has to go back to O'Neill. O'Neill hammers it forward towards Hecker. Hecker and Ringrose. Hecker just takes it off Ringrose's nose almost there. And plays the ball forward towards Knight. Intelligent play, but Knight was offside. It again looked close. Knight is not happy with the decision and is making her feelings well known. Free kick in favour of Lions. Just a reminder, follow Football Queensland on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter for all the latest football news and events across the state. At Football QLD on Twitter and Instagram. Search for Football Queensland on Facebook and YouTube. Lions taking it into the corner. It's not something I'm a particular fan of, but when you're running down the clock, it's worth doing sometimes. Well, his body's flying all over the place here. Free kick was not for the shoulder charge. It was for the foul over on the far side, and there's still a Capalaba player down. I'll have to check who it is down, and there is some concern for whichever player it is. I can't see a number, I'm afraid, and the player herself is obscured from my line of vision by an increasing crowd of concerned Capalaba players. It did look a free kick. Referee had decided to play advantage as Capalaba worked their way out of trouble. Well, Lions have got a robust defence. They've conceded half as many goals as the next stingiest defence, if stingiest is a word. 4 clean sheets. They haven't added to that today, but they have been fairly adept at the back. Only the 1 goal conceded, and that from an unfortunate mistake from Tanisha Stanley, who's rebounded spectacularly, and it was her fine efforts that provided the ball to Knight, who delivered the cross to Tegan Riding for the 2nd goal for Lions. Capalaba will be a player down here. Concern still being shown to that Capalaba player who has not moved. Throw is picked up in the midfield by Heatley. Going to see a substitution here, and it's Whitney Knight, who hasn't added to her spectacular tally over the past 4 games of 7 goals, 10 for the season. She's going to walk off fairly slowly as Rob Askew makes his second change of the night. Round of applause coming from the grandstands. I believe it's Danielle Barnett who's come onto the field, one of the under-18s, member of the Australian schoolgirls' successful side from the Dallas Cup. She played a couple of times for Mitchelton last year as well. And that is full time. It was a matter of seconds on the field for Danielle Barnett. But a fine come from behind victory for Lions FC. Tegan Riding just goes over to check on, I think it's in fact Steph Latham who's gone down and is making her way down the tunnel now. That was a fantastic game of women's football. Really, really enjoyed that. Capalaba went ahead in the first half thanks to Jacinta Perrin, although that doesn't tell half the story. It was a lovely cross from the spectacularly efficient Katie Cooperus, who was brilliant at the back and then provided this wonderful cross that teased and tested the Lions' defence and eventually resulted in Tanisha Stanley poking the ball past Cassie Zafina. Whether there was a call or not, I couldn't tell from up here, but it allowed the pacey Jacinta Perrin to just nip in and get Capalaba the lead. That lead lasted until a few moments into the second half, from which Lions came out as if shot by a cannon in that second half. They posed wave and wave and wave of attack against the Capalaba defence, and eventually the Red Sea parted when Mario Hecker, with a lovely little piece of skill, allowed Sophie Persson to race down towards the byline. Hecker continued her run and then was fouled in the penalty area. Persson made no mistake from the spot to level things up, and then Tegan Riding got the go-ahead goal. Some fantastic work from Tanisha Stanley, who more than made up for her mistake by playing in Whitney Knight, who delivered a looping cross over towards the back post where Tegan Riding nodded home. Lions, you'd have to say, are well worth their 3 points. They continue to put the pressure on Moreton Bay United and extend their unbeaten run at the start of this season to 10 games. That's 9 wins and a draw. 48 goals scored and just for 7 conceded. They continue their unbeaten run. Rob Askew, April's Football Queensland Manager of the Month for the National Premier League's Women's Queensland competition, continues his excellent run of form. And Capalaba, well, now that's 3 defeats in a row, and it's perhaps unfair to say, but it does appear to be a slight slump that Daniel Baker is going to have to get his team through. Don't forget, National Premier League's Queensland, every single game being televised or being live streamed, by Football Queensland, and tomorrow is no exception. The game of the week is between Brisbane Roar Youth and Lions. You'll be able to join Darren for that one live from the Logan Metro Sports Complex on Sunday night for your Sunday session. But for Saturday's football action, that's all we've got time for here. I've been Simon Smell. This has been a Double Take Productions for Football Queensland. We hope you enjoyed the stream. I certainly enjoyed calling it, and I can't wait to be with you next time. We'll see you then.